Welcome to the RPG Podcast.
And we are live.
Oh, God, Patton!
Presented by SHEATH. A Time Wheel production.
Oh, hey, what's up, everyone? We're back, and we are back with another fun guest. His name is Sammy, Sambo Slice. He's back again. Thank you for coming back, sir. How you doing today?
Yeah, good, man. It's different seeing you, the evolution of your podcast now. It's nice.
Thanks. We've been working on it. We're using hands. You got to do the hand part. No, I'm just kidding, but not totally kidding. And learning, looking to others for inspiration to see what they're doing right, and maybe we're not doing enough of. I don't want to be lazy, and I feel like we can do better with certain aspects of the settings and energy and preparation and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Always growing, my man. Always growing. That's good.
Likewise. Tell me what you've been up to.
Man, really focusing on the martial arts, the gym side, picking up clients. The kids program's really going well. I think last time we spoke, I can't remember if we were shut down or we had just reopened. I can't remember, but since we have reopened, man, everything's just growing, and couldn't ask for anything better, man. Great team. We got a great team over here.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be back open. I feel like everything sort of stopped, although Texas was one of the states where it was opened up faster than most places, but over the past 10 days, it's like, COVID what?
Yeah.
What is COVID?
Yeah, it's on its never gonna leave, but it's on its way out as far as the all the hype.
Yeah, well, yeah, I steered clear. Luckily, thankfully, I never had to deal with any of the repercussions of that. But I'm up in the mountains. You're in the city, San Antonio. Since has the population blown up since the migration from California, New York? Or not noticeably?
Not that noticeably. You can just tell people are out and about now. People are getting out and about, back to weekend stuff, back to really just living life again, to be honest.
So weekend stuff, like clubs and social distancing, just we're back.
Parties, concerts.
Yeah.
A lot more concerts are coming up. People were getting out into the parks, but now people are actually traveling and wanting to take trips, hiking. You'll see a lot of people out and about just riding bikes now. Now it's, before, when they had to stay in-house, people were riding, walking, hiking, all that. Now it's become a normal thing where families are getting out there. It's cool to see. It's really cool to see, man.
Absolutely. So, tell me about your evolution, as your growth. What have you been doing and, to keep growing and everything?
My role here it hasn't changed, but I'm stepping into that role now. I've done a couple, so this is both personal and professional development, but I've gotten my certification with the level 1 of Enlifted, so the Enlifted coaches group. Also working with, so that's with Mark England, working with Angelo Cisco with the Alpha Hippie, which is just strictly men, just focusing on development.
This episode is brought to you by Third Eye Cacao. We're so happy to have a brand new sponsor. We want you to support our sponsors because they make these shows possible.
Third Eye Cacao is on a mission to preserve ceremonial grade cacao in the world and invite others on a journey from their head to their heart. Cacao is a fruit where chocolate comes from and is one of the most nutrient-dense superfoods on the planet. It has been called the elixir of the gods for its ability to open up the heart. Studies have shown that the same endorphins that get released when you are falling in love for the first time, cacao has the power to induce also. It's like the best feeling in the world, and cacao has that for you here at Third Eye Cacao. Overall, cacao has the powerful ability to begin any day with intention and ceremony. Use promo code TIMEWHEEL, that's TIMEWHEEL, at checkout and save 11% at thirdeyecacao.com. This episode is also brought to you by SHEATH, the underwear of legends. It is the underwear with the dual pouch system. One pouch for one part of the male anatomy, another for the other part of the male anatomy. Not only is the underwear the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear, but it also has the most stylish designs and patterns. The fabrics actually have a cooling effect when you put them on for the very first time. Your body will thank you because it's one of the hottest parts of your body. So cooling it down with these special fabrics that SHEATH provides is a nice experience. The proof is in the pudding. We have a 100% money back guarantee on the very first pair. If you don't like it, we'll send you your money back. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use promo code RPG and save 20%. We appreciate your support. Back to the show.
Internal development, I would say, that translates into everything we do. So truly walking into who I was made to be and my purpose and what I want out of life and how to do it, really getting things structured, where before I was kind of just going with the flow. Mm-hmm. And now I have a little bit more structure in place. I have things locked down in my life and checking things off, making things happen. And with these, I've really stepped into my role a little bit better. Communication was one of my downfalls because I've always done things on my own. Since mom passed, I had to really dig deep and just do things on my own. And now with the role that I'm playing, I really have to consider everyone around me now. And I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at, man. Things in fixing myself has translated it to everything else I'm doing here with my current role at the gym.
Yeah, it all starts within. Absolutely. I have been meditating every day for quite a while now, and sometimes twice a day. I went to this transcendental meditation kind of class, I guess, but it was just a guy, and he taught me how to meditate and told me kind of the why. I had already figured it out, though, is the funny thing, like as far as the mantra and meditating and getting to that deep 0 point. But he basically confirmed that I was doing it right, and then kind of gave me a little bit more guidance of what you're experiencing when you're meditating, so that you know if you're doing it right or if you're doing it wrong. And they have this app that was really helpful. And so I'm really loving that. So like my life overall has gotten significantly more consistent. I think consistency was what I was lacking, like, because my sleep schedule was so fucked up that's, like 3 out of the 4 days would just be not a waste, but I could only get like the main shit done. There was no getting ahead. And since I've been meditating and exercising, I've been doing the Mace a lot more, loving the Mace. I got back into it. I kind of like got away from it for like a while. It's so good for your back. like if you, I mean, because if you don't know, like if your back is always sore, it's probably because you don't use it enough. And by just swinging the mace around, it really gets those back muscles moving, which gets that lotion going.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The what you said earlier about having a guide, that's the main thing. I feel like over time you figure out how to do things on your own, but with someone there to guide you who's been there, done that, whether it's using their system or not, they have a system, but you learn how to develop your own system. And that's really what I find the most is where I know I need help and I know I need guidance of others. And then I just figure out how to implement it into my life and just tweak it just a little bit and continue to move forward and execute. And man, as far as the mace goes, so November 20th is my mom's birthday. March 5th is the anniversary of her passing. And so during that time period is pretty powerful for me. I learn something new. I grow somehow, whether it's I have to eliminate something out of my life or do something a little bit better. Something changes within that time. And I started doing 1,000 mace swings over at the cemetery. We go over there and we hang out with my brothers and my grandma and whoever else can show up. But this on the 5th, we went over there. It was on a Saturday. And that stabilization that you're talking about, that's really good for your back. The first 500, I had to connect. Once I hit that 500, I was all right. I'm good to go. I'm hitting that flow state. My feet are grounded. My back is where it needs to be. My spine is stable. Now I can close my eyes and just go. I just go and I just go. I remember last time you told me, and it stuck with me, that mace swings, 360s are like cardio. It's like running with your arms. Mm-hmm. And so that's always stuck with me, man. And so every time I do my mace swings, I think about what you said.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. I love that tool. It's amazing that more people don't use it. And I've gotten better when it comes to like just closing my eyes. Here's something I've been doing that's awesome is I got the Peloton app. My boy Dave here, producer Dave, set me up with his like one of the logins, and I was running with it, and I was getting on my stair climber. It's like an elliptical machine. But I just use it with the Peloton running app. But one day I decided to, instead of run, swing the mace to the pace of the running. And because then she's also sort of like, they're giving you these motivational comments about being the best, and you just by making it, you getting here, you've already done the hard part, and like stories just to take your mind off of it. Great music, by the way. They have really good music. They just got like Eminem, but the compilations they'll do are for running. So, and then they'll kind of talk over it. I don't know. Have you ever tried it?
I have not. No, sir.
So, there's a million different apps. I was telling my friend about it this Saturday, actually, March 5th. And then he shows me his Beachbody app. And I'm like, all right, everybody's got an app. I guess I don't need to tell anyone really. But the point is, doing it for 20 minutes to the pace of this, the music and the instructor, but it's flowing. I'm flowing with the mace. I'm just doing the different moves that all the different moves that you can do, not necessarily 360s, but all of it, whatever I'm feeling. And my quads are getting thicker because just sitting there bouncing in a like a lunge position, and then going to the other side, and all the stuff that's involved. Anyone out there, if you haven't tried a mace, they're basically free, in my opinion. If you go to onit.com, they're like $40 or something.
Yeah.
And it's a full body work. It can be a full body workout. Then you go to Leo Savage on Instagram or whatever, wherever he's at. take a couple classes, or if you're in, I don't know if you teach or instruct, Sammy. Do you?
Yeah, I have a weekly class, and then I'm starting more classes here soon. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
here
you're
in
in the
San
same
Antonio, man.
San Antonio. Exactly. Oh, that reminds me. This guy Antonio he was messaging me, and I was in another meeting. Then I called him after the meeting, and then he was busy. So we'll probably link up after this. Loving the podcast. Been doing it every week consistently. We're trying to grow it. Do you listen to podcasts in general? Like,
I listen, but not often. With my coach, I listen to, so it's Alpha Hippie, Alpha Hippie podcast with Angelo Cisco. That's the one I've been consistently listening to. Other than that, it's Anjuna Deep, some progressive house and trance that I listen to.
nice.
While I work out. But other than that, man, I after a certain time, I try and put my phone away and just get out of the screens and start to wind it down, man.
What time is that?
For me, it's about 11. With my schedule, it's about 11.
11 p.m.
11 p.m. Trying to make it earlier, but
Yeah.
you know how that goes.
What do you take time to read anything?
Yeah, I've been reading more. That's funny you say that.
Tell me.
I've been reading more. Breath work. I try and do breath work.
Oh,
and with the breath work, that's part of my meditation. It's part of my meditation. I've been writing a little bit more as well too. I'm writing sometimes I don't, sometimes I do, and when I do, it just flows. On my breath work, there's different techniques that I'll do: box breathing, Wim Hof, crocodile breathing. Depends what kind of mood I'm in, and I just tap into the breath, put some music on, and man, I tap in. That's really what I'll do. I just tap in.
What was the first one you said? The first before Wim Hof?
Box breathing.
What is that?
So I start with the number 4 or 4 seconds, but you create a box with your breath. I take a 4-second inhale. I hold it at the top for 4 seconds. I exhale for 4 seconds. I hold it at the bottom for 4 seconds. And you continue that cycle, and then I'll go to 5 seconds, and 6 and 7, and you just slowly increase that number until you figure out your solid retention. Sometimes it's the retention at the top, sometimes it's the retention at the bottom. We just create that box and make the even numbers, and it's a great way to not only reset your central nervous system to bring you down into a relaxed state, but it's also a great way to check in with your breath, to test your lungs, see where you're at, how deep of a breath can I really take. If I really wanted to take it slow inhales, but you start with 4 and then 5 and 6, so on and so forth. That one I teach. That's the first one I teach all my clients.
Nice. Yeah. I like the controlled aspect of it. It could probably just calm you down, center you if you're like spazzing out or something.
It helps, man. I'm a coffee guy, and so sometimes I get a little carried away with my coffee. And the breath work helps bring me back down to that state that I need to be in before bed.
What about the crocodile breath? What is that?
Crocodile, you're going belly down and in and out through the nose only. So if right here, if I were to just breathe in and out through my nose only, belly breathing, my stomach expands outward. When I'm on the ground, I can't expand outward, so it goes the opposite direction. And you're able to build internal pressure with the diaphragm and inhale, inflate like a balloon, and then deflate. So you're able to build internal pressure, pushing into the muscle tissue of the low back, the mid and upper back, and then for me, I find the most relief in my neck. And then so you're building that pressure, inflate, push into the muscle tissue, the rib cage, and then deflate. And you just do that for either 60 seconds on the right, 60 seconds on the left. Sometimes I won't even count. Sometimes I'll do 10 breaths. Sometimes I'll just do 10 breaths on one side, 10 breaths on the other. It's another great way to start the recovery process after a workout, or just bring you back down to a relaxed state. And man, I teach everyone that one too. Yeah.
How much time are you spending at the gym?
So I'm here every day. So with jiu-jitsu, I'm training jiu-jitsu 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. But as far as my strength conditioning goes, I get at least 2 days of strength. If I can add a third day, I will. But I'm always on the go, man. If I can just squeeze in 30 minutes, if I can get an hour, I'll squeeze it in. But it really depends on my day, my schedule. But as far as the jiu-jitsu goes, that stays consistent. My strength training, I have to lift or I feel my joints. I'm more prone to injury if I don't get my strength training in. And it'll catch up to me.
Yeah.
If I don't stay consistent, it catches up to me, and that's where body starts to break down. My mobility work, I warm up with my clients. So I'll warm up with them, get some, especially in the mornings. I try and fill up my schedule in the mornings with clients. So I warm up with them. I'll hop on the foam roller with them. And not only do they enjoy it, because it's a little encouraging to have your coach right there with you doing it. But they also, so it's a pattern recognition. So they see the technique that I'm doing. If it's clean, it helps them keep it clean and keep it, execute on those warm-up drills precise. It keeps it precise. Sometimes if I don't do it with them, it's not as clean, but then repetition. After a while, I'll stop doing the warm-ups with them because they've got it locked down. And so they're learning all these things, how to do it on their own. At the beginning of our training, when I first take on a new client, you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to remember all this. That we'll keep coming back. This is what we're going to do from when we start for the first 10 minutes. You're going to learn how to do it on your own to where I want you to fire me. You're not going to need me anymore. You're going to learn how to do all this stuff on your own. So if you're only here for 6 months, a year, you go to the next gym, you're going to know how to walk in, run your warm-up, run your workout, get your cool down in, and boom, you're out the door.
That's so key. I hate to, so I imagine having a personal trainer is best case scenario, but if you don't, and you can get on the Peloton thing, that what I love about it is what you just said is what I don't do by myself is warm up or cool down or have any sort of functional posture, proper form of exercise. And they're constantly just kind of reminding you and guiding you through the whole thing. So you don't really have to think. Don't like to think that much. I'd rather just do it like a robot and zone out. And so having someone there doing it with you also helps the motivational aspect of it. And so I like that. Do you find that a lot of or most of your members are like super close to your gym, like proximity as far as where they live, or do people travel from ways?
So we're a 24-hour facility as far as the gym goes on the gym side, and convenience is a huge factor. So not only are we open 24/7, it's close to home. So for the most part, it's convenient for people, but we are a very unique facility to where I'll get people from the south side coming. You get people who will drive 20, 30 minutes just to come over here because of our hours and the equipment. We got a lot of toys to play with, Mace, kettlebells, clubs, bumper plates. We got a whole jungle gym little system in the center. 2 levels. Upstairs you'll have your sauna and cardio. Downstairs you have most of your equipment. And since it's 24/7, everyone's spread out throughout the entire day, so you're never going to be elbow to elbow, and you're able to get your work in. And people love that. They can come in, get their work in, and they're out the door. So convenience is a huge factor. And with some clients, I meet with them once a week, some twice, or sometimes 3 times a week. Depending on their schedule, time constraints. I have one client I meet with twice a week, but she does another version of Peloton, which is Echelon. She does the Echelon version, and she's on that thing 5 days out of the week on top of our strength conditioning that we do. And so, man, she's on it. I got people that need that assistance, that extra push. And then some people like her who she meets with me, she already knows what to do with the warm-ups. She already knows, all right, this is what I do. If I'm running a few minutes behind our session, she's already getting her warm-up in. And the people that I meet with once a week, I teach them a workout. So we teach them what we're going to do. The warm-ups and cool-downs stay more or less the same depending on what we're doing, but I'll shoot them a Google Sheets. They have their own profile on Google Sheets. They have their body weight, body fat percentage. If we're doing deadlift, bench, and squat, they have their max numbers, and over time we retest and so on and so forth. But if I meet once a week, we learn the workout, I update it and put it in your Google Sheets. That way you can practice that one throughout the week. The following week, we work something else. I update that workout, plug it into the Google Sheets. And so you're going to keep learning a new one every time. They'll see the patterns. They're going to get used to the movements. And then I'm also able to see any limitations they have, whether it's back, shoulders are not in place. I'm able to see firsthand, okay, make these little adjustments so that I'm confident and they're confident with running through that whole workout. So I'm not just sending them a workout or putting them through something random. It's specific to what they need, and then the adjustments are specific to what they need as well too. So every week you're growing. Every week you're doing something new, and they love it, man. It makes it super convenient. So that's the other side of the convenience factor. They can come in whenever they want, and then they have it all at their hands. Hyperlinks to warm-ups, hyperlinks to the particular exercise or the particular tool that they're using. Because we can do a squat with a barbell, we can do a squat with a kettlebell, we can do a squat with the Mace, you know what I mean? So the training tools can change, but the movement pattern stays the same. And over time, they're going to level up. I just make it a little bit more difficult, depending on what they want, what they need, so on and so forth. And I just got a template, man. I got a template that works for the most part, and I make little adjustments as I need per person. So it's a case by case, depending on the individual and what they want. But over time, I've been able to develop it, and everyone loves it.
I love it. I'm very happy for you. Being able to help people must be relatively fulfilling.
It really is, man.
Yeah.
The stories that I hear, the changes that people are feeling, whether it's their breath, they're able to breathe a little bit better, they're less stressed, they're able to work their way out of a stressed state into a relaxed state. They're able to manage their own pain and aches, especially as we age. Things don't work the same, so they're able to navigate on their own. And then just stuff at home. So everything we do in the gym should help you get stronger and better at the stuff that you love to do outside of the gym. So they're doing things outside of here that they haven't done before, and that's the beautiful part. And I want them to. So it's longevity and performance. I want you to add years to your life the best way you can, but able to perform well and still do the things. Play with the kids, get up and off the ground without ease, go on bike rides, hikes, take trips that you want to. Man, all the above.
Live life.
Yeah, live life to the fullest, man. Enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, having a personal trainer, again, like that's where we kind of started off with the meditation aspect, is lacking. And we all kind of try to figure it out on our own, a lot of things, everything. But if you are smart enough to pay for a personal trainer, or you can jump sort of leaps and bounds ahead of where you would have been otherwise. It's like cheating, kind of.
Yes.
And you want to get the advantage, you want to have an advantage over what you could be, or your opponent, or competitors. Like even me, I'm a businessman, but I have competitors, and it'd be nice to know who they were exactly and their stats, and I could compare myself on a day-to-day basis and be like, this motherfucker's kicking my ass today. I got to step up my game. But I don't know what they're doing over there at Saks or some of my competitors. I know we started looking into this company, MeUndies, and I'm sure many people have heard of them because they sponsor Joe Rogan's podcast. But do you ever listen to Joe Rogan?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there was one recently. One of the most recent ones with Mr. Beast. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't.
Isn't that weird? He has 90 million subscribers on YouTube. You've never heard of him? Isn't that crazy?
Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast, okay.
And he just went on Rogan, and he was kind of telling his story about how he came up, and it was quite amazing, actually, because he just started doing YouTube videos, and that's all he wanted to do, and he obsessed himself. And it's been 12 years later, and he's the number one content creator on YouTube. And there's something to be learned, which he didn't have mentors, but what he did have, because nobody had done it before, what he did do was create a group of people who all were trying to do the same thing, and they masterminded on a daily basis how to improve their channels. And he said within a couple of months, they all had got to like 1 million subscribers. And so dedicating your life towards something is key, but what is that thing is the other key.
So so the consistency alone will carry you up to a certain point. And then at that certain point, you'll have to then ask for help, or have a guide, or have a group of like-minded individuals to help you hit the next level. And so the consistency, yes, staying consistent, that's awesome. But at a certain point, I'm going to only reach so far. So that's where I'm going to have to reach out to a coach. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm going to have to get other homies along with me who are on the same path to grow it somehow. Everyone's going to bring something different to the table. I'm only one aspect or one part of the team that we have here. And my coach has a coach, and his coach had a coach at a certain point, whether it's for physical development, mental development, spiritual, whatever industry that you're in, any growth, I for sure believe that you're definitely going to have others with you. There's power in numbers, right? There's power in numbers. So you got a team of people behind you. I've got a team of people behind you, and everyone's got their role to play. It's a tribe, you know what I mean? Building that tribe, and you guys are on one path in your industry, whatever goals you guys have, but you have everyone's got a different role, and I can only do so much. I got different strengths than my GM. Him and I run the day-to-day for the most part, but he's got other aspects and strengths that I don't, and vice versa. So that's where the community comes in, man. Like building up the community around you and growing on all levels. And that's the beautiful part is I can do so much on my own, but at a certain point, I'm just going to have to ask for help. And for me, that's where I saw the most growth is after Mom passed, I could only do so much on my own. Then I had to ask for help. And that's where I saw even more increase in everything that I was doing. And man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that growth because I had to let my ego down and say, all right, I just got to ask for help. I got to do it. I got to communicate and ask for help.
Absolutely. A man is an island, but you can't do everything yourself, or if you do, you're going to fall behind because you're like spreading yourself too thin. You need to like focus on the thing that you are going to be the expert in.
Dude,
and then
sure.
Basically pay the other people to do the other shit for you.
Yeah.
You can't mow the lawn, do the dishes, feed the baby, go to work, sleep, have a social life, and be like an expert in this, like building rockets or some shit. It's just like you gotta delegate, and asking for help we're on whatever level that might be, for whatever reason, like spiritual, I've been meditating for 20 years, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay this dude to teach me how to meditate. It like almost doesn't make sense, but then I actually got better, and I think, you know, I'm at a new level for sure of just mental stability, composure. Like it's like I think I'm this enlightened sort of a guy. I try to be, but I still get super irritated with people sometimes. And so I'm like, I get impatient with time. We only have so much fucking time in this world, and I don't need to be listening to you jabber on about some bullshit that you already told me. You already told me the shit. I gotta go. Like, we already agreed. Now we're just repeating ourselves.
We never get time back, man. That's the one thing we never get back.
Right. So that's something though I want to work on, and because there's friends of mine who they'll just sit there and talk and like talk just, and I'm doing that now, but we've scheduled this time to do this, and that's what I love about these is I can dedicate myself to a conversation where somebody creeps up on me when I'm doing something, and then all of a sudden now, like 20 minutes later, we're talking about I didn't have this scheduled, and I don't know what that sounds like, but I get super frustrated. I'm just like, come on, man. I end up sometimes having to be rude, and I don't know how to. Maybe you could answer this question: how to politely remove yourself from a situation. I don't know.
So that happens to me very often because I come in contact with a lot of people.
Right.
And like even just before I had to hop on this call, someone came in and was chatting. And one thing that I've really taken on is being clear and concise with my words, clear and concise with what I'm trying to say, the message I'm trying to direct at them, whatever it is, whatever we're talking about. But I know if I'm on a time constraint or if I'm already in a certain state of mind of doing something, I have to be clear and concise. Say, hey man, I'm working on something. I appreciate you stopping by, but I really got to finish this. Let's schedule a time to meet, and that way I can dedicate all my time and my mindset. I want to be completely focused on what you've got to say. So with the Enlifted method, and we're just doing, it's jiu-jitsu with words, really all it is.
Interesting.
It's jiu-jitsu with words. And man, if you want to have someone on your podcast, Mark England. Mark England is the man, and it's crazy, some of the stuff. So one of them is should. It's a should detox. Are you shitting on yourself? So for example, think of something that I should do. I should go to the gym today. Okay, let's take out the word should and replace it with could. I could go to the gym today. How does that feel? Does it sound different to you? Does it make you feel a little bit? It makes it more doable for me.
Yeah, I could do that.
Right? I can go to the gym today.
I could go to the gym instead of I should go, because I should go, you're not going to go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I replace it with could. All right, let's take it a step further. Let's take out could and put I can go to the gym today. I can go to the gym today because I gotta work out. All right, I gotta work out. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Well, and I have the body, I have the health, I get to.
Yes. So that takes us to the next one. So these are like little language games that we play. But the should detox will take you to a pressure language, like I have to, I need to, and we change it like just what you just said. I get to go to the gym today. I get to do my taxes. And as opposed to I have to do my taxes or I need to do my taxes, you're putting a little bit of pressure on yourself. I get to makes all right. It's not as daunting, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not as daunting. And just little things like that. taking out certain words, replacing it with others, what words he used more of and why, what words he used less of and why. One of them, and one of my favorites, is projections. Like, he did this to me. He makes me feel this way.
Yes.
Or you're projecting whatever it is onto someone else. So take out he, him, her, they, and just replace it with I. I make me feel this way. That changes it up.
Oh yeah.
That changes it up.
Gives you the power.
It gives you the power. Okay, wait. So how am I reacting when they do this or when they say this? How am I reacting? Why am I reacting that certain way? So
I'm triggered. Yeah.
Yeah. Why am I triggered?
Yeah.
And so the projections, replacing they, him, her with I make me feel this way. Why do I feel this way? And so that's where you turn internally, and taking it back to the beginning of this conversation, the personal development. What am I doing that's causing me to react this way? What story in the past causes that emotional charge? Do I have to, and then we go into some story work. I remember vividly when my parents got divorced. I remember the bunk bed. I remember the house we were living in. I can remember very vividly the conversation that they brought us in, and that charges, it brings an emotional charge for me, but it's all in my head. So our magic wand is our pen. I'm gonna write this story down. I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna put it like a title of a movie, and then I put it like a story, not a journal, but like an actual story. And so it's out of my head. I'm able to externalize it. And what we do is we create space and clarity from the story. So instead of the story being so close in my face and causing that emotional charge, like I mentioned, I'm able to create space and clarity. And there's a 4-step process that we do. So our first one is write it down and read it normal pace. Step 2, we read it a little bit slower, so 70% speed of that same story. Makes you feel a little bit different, puts a little bit of ease on your shoulders. And then we reread it and we add the breath in there. We call it supercharging. I'm going to add the breath in there. Sometimes it's at the commas, it's always at the period. So, for example, in my case, mom and dad brought me and my brother into the room. They were going to tell us that they were splitting up. Dad was going to be leaving, and we were going to be staying with mom. I'm a little bit more at ease because I'm not reading it so fast with my breath trapped in my chest. My breath, the exhales, put me a little bit more at ease. I'm able to drop my shoulders and keep the breath low and slow, and I'm creating space and clarity. It doesn't cause that emotional charge anymore. I have it's something that happened in the past, but man, I'm able to move on. I have a better clarity of what happened in the past. It's not right here in my face. It's not all in my head. It has no ending. When I write it down, there's a period. It has an ending after that sentence. And so it's some deep stuff, man.
No, I like it. And
it's fun. It's fun, though.
That sounds like you're doing more than physical, workouts. You're doing mental, spiritual, getting rid of some baggage. We all have baggage. I need to do some writing down. A lot of my stuff is not so much from the past, although when you said, mom and dad brought me and my brother in to have a talk, like that happened to me when I was 5, and a pretty vivid memory as well. And then going to his new apartment, and then ultimately his new girlfriend, shout out to Louisa, she's out there somewhere, and just multiple houses, multiple relationships, switching states, moving back and forth, and all these types of things. It definitely was a huge impact on my life. But writing things down in general, like if you have something on your mind that you need to do, typically if you just write it down, you don't have to keep thinking it over and over again, which corresponds to what you're saying about memories. Like you could either let it replay in your head in an infinite, or maybe writing it down might just transfer it out of your head and onto paper, and maybe give you some peace about it, especially with those techniques you were just demonstrating about the breathing. I think that's love the breathing. It's very important.
That's what first brought me in, man, is Mark England was on the Kyle Kingsbury podcast, and listening to him talking about the language, but as soon as he mentioned the breath, he said that the science behind it does wonders. And as soon as he mentioned the breath, that's what caught me. I was like, okay, there's something to this. So let me deep dive, and like, what is this all about? What is this method? What system does he use? It's cool to see. I mean, Leo Savage has his system. My other Mace coach, Rick Brown, has his system that he uses.
Rick Brown, who's this guy?
He's an OG in the game, man.
I thought it was Eric, like Meeland and Leo Savage. That's it. No.
Rick Brown, R-I-K Brown. Rick Brown, man.
Interesting. Does he flow, or does he do like a more traditional style?
More traditional, yeah.
Yeah.
So when I got certified with Mace, there's 2 days in Long Beach, California. First day was with Leo, his whole system, Steel Mace Flow. Second day, day 2, was with Rick Brown, heavy mace, 10 and 2s, grave diggers. You're learning more of the traditional stuff.
Yeah,
and,
grave diggers for sure.
So in my head, being a jiu-jitsu practitioner, it was like Eddie Bravo and the 10 Planet system, a little new age type stuff, no gi. And then you had the traditional Gracie coming up from the old school, completely trained in the gi, right? Yeah. So in my head, I was like, man, this is perfect. I get both ends of the spectrum. I get a little bit of the Steel Mace Flow, more of the traditional side with Rick Brown. And I just created my own little system, a little bit of both. Just like we mentioned earlier, you learn over time, you ask for help, and then you learn how to tweak it and make it your own, and you continue to move forward, continue to execute on whatever industry you're in. You do all the steps, do all the actionable steps, keep growing, keep asking for help. And dude, learn, grow, share. We remember 30% of what we hear, 50% of what we write down, and then 80% of what we teach.
Yeah.
So we learn, we grow, and we share. Sharing what you're learning with others. I'm able to articulate things to my clients, because I'm sharing it with one person and they communicate different than my next client. We do it with the kids, where we have the little ones come in. It's a new student. I'm going to have one of the more advanced kids, take them by the hand, show them how to do the warm-ups, to where it's not an adult standing over you, telling you to do this and that. The kids are right there, eye level, showing him the way. So now we're having the kids having to articulate a warm-up drill to a new student. They're having to communicate it to a new student. And we're raising up little leaders, man. And it's cool to see the kids grow that way. And we'll call them out. The kids like, all right, can you show us a scissor sweep? Yes. All right, they're ready to go. And at first, they're kind of put off, like, me? Mm-hmm. You want me to shoot? Okay. And so we're breaking the wall down of not being afraid to stand up and communicate in front of a classroom, but they have to articulate this particular technique. And we see the most growth that way, especially with the little ones on the mats. We see the most growth that way because they have to teach it to the class. It's not me teaching it. You don't have an adult. You have your peer teaching you. And man, I love it, bro. I love it.
Wow, that's so critical for a young person to develop the ability to speak in public, and it's such a untaught, tool, because in school, like at most, you might have to like read in front of the group or maybe give a presentation with a group, and a lot of times. But if having a kid explain something in the effort of teaching and learning it deeper, but also, teaching the rest of the students who would then go to do the same thing they were doing and teach it as well,
Yes.
would really aid in the development in, social skills. Probably we get so nervous in public. Sometimes I don't even like being around that many people all the time, but sometimes I do, but it can be draining. But I guess I don't know if that has anything to do with public speaking exactly, but kind of. You're in public. Thinking of something like, because interpersonal, so it's different, like speaking in public in front of a crowd versus interpersonal relationships and small talk and kind of parties, mingling, getting to know new people.
Right.
And what are we doing here? We're at a party, we're chatting it up. What's the point of this? Is sometimes just to mingle. Just, it's just cool to be at a party and talk to people and get to know, maybe you find someone new. I don't know.
So what we do with the kids, and this will take us back to the breath, and the adults too, but we bow in, beginning of class, and there's a short time period. So, okay, everyone face forward, on your knees. We sitting down on your knees, and you sit up tall, close your eyes, and just breathe. Focus on your breathing. What happens when we take an inhale? My posture changes. So I'm able to get a little bit of spinal alignment, and then I keep that. So we're able to sit up tall. They're able to focus on their breath, and we do the same thing. It's cool to see some of these kids who are really hyperactive and always on the go, but when it's time to get on your knees and bow in or bow out, they're standing up tall, they're not moving, they're focusing on their breath, they're postured up. Man, it's cool to see some of the changes with the kids, not only with their posture and they're having to focus on their own breath, but back to the communication factor. When I breathe in, my chest proudens. I'm going to have a proud chest. I'm tall to the crown. It's a little bit more of a confidence factor. I'm walking around with my chest proud as opposed to my posture being low and, looking, I find it, it's not a weakness, but, with my posture broken, I look a little weak and not as confident. I might look a little timid.
Yeah.
But once I get that breath in, the chest is proud. Oh man, all right, I'm standing nice and tall. I'm walking with my crown straight. You know what I mean? As the kings that we are, we're walking with the crown straight and my chest nice and proud. And so with the breath low and slow, if I'm in an emotional state, my breath is trapped in my chest, mouth breathing, it sends signals to the brain that I'm getting chased by a lion or an emergency type situation is happening. When I'm breathing low and slow, in and out to the nose, into my belly, brings me into a relaxed state, sends signals to the brain that I can rest and digest. I can stay calm. So when we have one of the kids, they're rolling and they're on mount, one of the kids is on bottom, I can see him panicking. As I calm down, focus on your breath, control your breathing. Man, you see the change in their face. They're like, okay, it's not so bad down here. I can find a way out of top mount. I can work my trap and roll and come up and work the sweep or whatever it is. And the breath changes a lot, man. The breath changes a lot on multiple levels.
I need to practice that when I'm in these social situations that I'm not ready for. Just take a deep breath. It's all good. Because I like Eckhart Tolle, and I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like a new age philosopher, and he's like, you're stuck at a red light and you're late and you're like, I want to be there, but I'm here. And it's so frustrating. But if you can just like, I guess, get over the fact that it's all in your mind anyways. A lot of these things, it's like, I'm supposed to be somewhere else and I'm here, but you're here. So what the fuck? Deal with it. And otherwise you're just causing yourself more stress.
It's part of training.
Yeah.
It's part of training.
He wrote a, go ahead.
Everything happens for a reason. So if I'm at that red light,
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be here right now, not over there
exactly.
right now. And so if you're reacting that certain way, getting frustrated, I'm the same way too. I'm like, man, I'm late. I'm running late. It's part of training. If I want to get somewhere at a particular time, all right, next time I'm going to leave 5 to 10 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier. Or if I'm at that red light and I feel myself getting into that state, breathe low and slow into the belly. It changes things. It definitely changes things.
Yeah, totally. What you said, about like being, it's the word now, you said now, and like he wrote a book called The Power of Now, and I highly recommend that to anyone out there. It was one of the first books I read when I got out of the Army and I was relatively lost. I knew I had SHEATH going for me, but I was like all by myself, and everything had just changed. My whole life had changed pretty drastically. But listening to him, reading that book, being in the moment is key. And he'll always do that. He does these little seminars and talks, and he'll come out there and just not say anything and just be like, just breathing, and waits till the whole crowd just like reaches that vibration of calm, and then he cracks some joke or something. He's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. What you said? What are you reading these days?
I don't know if you consider it. Well, one book I'm reading is The Way of the Superior Man.
Oh, interesting.
The Way of the Superior Man. And then I still consider it reading, but on Audible, Dave Ramsey, 7 Steps or 7 Steps to Baby Millionaire, Baby Steps to Millionaire, something like that.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey's a shit for sure.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey. That was one thing I've always never had a solid grasp on. Yeah, financial discipline.
Yeah.
And I've come a long way with that, man, being able to pay off debt, so on and so forth. So running through that one for the second time now. David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me, running through that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Hickson Gracie, he has a book called Breathe.
Ooh,
that one's really good. Yeah, so he goes in not only to the breath, but the history of jiu-jitsu and his family, the Gracie family, and his perspective as far as the lineage goes. What's another one? The 5 Love Languages. That was really good.
Yes.
The
absolutely.
5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
That one's helped out not only in my relationship, but my relationship not only with my lady, but with others as well too. People learn, they receive, and they also give love in certain ways. Words of affirmation or quality time, gifts, receiving gifts, or giving gifts, things like that. People have their primary love language, and that's the one that I just finished for the second time, but I've been able to implement, and it's built more of an awareness whenever I'm communicating with clients, whenever I'm communicating with my coworkers, with my family, so on and so forth. But that one's really spoken to me the most as of recently.
Nice. That's beautiful. I do believe I came across that at one point, and I like a lot. I like all of them, but it's my wife. I think she likes acts of service, and so I try to pick up around the house and shit, help her out a little bit here and there, so that she knows I care. Because some people you could just tell them, some people you have to show them, some people need to be touched, some people need gifts, etc. Yeah. So that is pretty key. I'm reading a couple books. Limitless by Jim Quick, which is like the power of the mind and unleashing, your limitless self, which is cool. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I just finished The Alchemist, which is a great short read if anyone hasn't read that out there, by Pablo Coelho. Very fun, very good, about the journey of a man's journey through the world, but it's like in a story. It's not about alchemy per se. There's like one of the characters is an alchemist, but it's not like you're trying to turn lead into gold by reading this book. And then I just finished one by Dan Brown called The Lost Symbol, which is really good, just about like the Masonic Logi type of ancient wisdom, and it really, spoiler alert, boils down to the Bible. And it was pretty interesting because that was like the first book, and that's where like knowledge was kind of first recorded, aside from tablets and things, but like a book. And they say that we are actually, like, our civilization, our understanding of reality kind of is reinforced through these stories, and society itself is kind of built on this book, which is interesting because words matter. Words matter, whatever, like words, language, and the structure, I guess, which the foundation. It's really that one was pretty cool. And then the last one, what I'm reading now, which is the best of all, which is why I saved it for last. It's really good. It's A Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell, and it is just like so cool. Like, it is about mythology and religion and paintings and cultures and fables and fairy tales and all the shit, and like how it all kind of like plays into the human psyche, and how these cultures, how we deal with our own mental issues now. They were there in the past, and they developed these stories of some legendary tale of whatever, and when you read it, sometimes it clicks, like, okay, yeah, this whatever issue you're dealing with, from jealousy to hate or greed and getting old and anything, it kind of puts things in perspective, and that would be my biggest recommendation right now, is The Hero with 1,000 Faces. But so thank you, Sammy, for coming on. Is there anything else you would like to touch on before we wrap it up?
Yeah, man, you mentioned the Bible, and that one's been the one. I mean, as a Christian, I grew up in church my whole life. In my 20s, lost track of what I was doing, experiencing life, so on and so forth. But it's always brought me back to the Bible. And the main reason, I mean, with all the different stories that are in there, you have parables, but that one really speaks to, it hits home, mainly because there's so many tools in there, and kind of like words of affirmation. Yeah, we have mantras that we can say and things like that. But the thing about the Bible for me is there's scripture in there, and scripture can be super powerful. And there's so many versions, and I can read one version. I love the Amplified version. Okay. And it goes into detail, and then I can read another version, and then it takes me to another verse, and then it reminds me of a book, or it reminds me. So I think of a huge web, and a huge web of all these different books, all these different scriptures, all these different stories. So all the books that you mentioned to me, I would love to get all those, because I want to just dive into those. But for sure, for whatever reason, what keeps me going on the path for me is the scripture, and I think of them as spiritual reps. It's part of my training.
Nice.
One of them is, for he has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. takes me back to my mind, having a sound mind, training myself. There's another one. It's creating me a clean and pure heart and a right and steadfast spirit within me. And so a nice, good heart keeps me open with my chest. I think tall through the crown. Have a right and steadfast spirit within me. So I think of staying on a steadfast path to continue taking actionable steps. And it always reminds me of something else and something else. And so I think of a huge web. It all correlates. It takes me to somewhere else, just like jiu-jitsu, just like the Mace. Everything kind of correlates with something else. And that's the beautiful part of it. I love being able to find all these different training modalities. And just like jiu-jitsu, just like the Mace, just like the Word, the Bible, we can find so many benefits to all these tools that we use, and they're training tools.
Yeah.
Use them all.
I know, and this is nothing new, you know.
It isn't.
So we're just reiterating these things: physical fitness, spiritual fitness, mental fitness. We're trying to tackle all these subjects and better ourselves as humans, so we like make it into the kingdom or whatever. Like, be our best self for sure,
Yes.
and being a shining light to those that follow.
Be that light, man.
Just like Jesus.
That's it. Be
That's
that
not
light.
a bad thing. Yeah, that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
that's a good note to wrap it up on. Thank you, Sammy. Sambo Slice on the Insta, I do believe.
Yeah, Sambo Slice 88 on Instagram.
That's right.
You can always reach me there. Here in San Antonio, if you're in San Antonio, by all means, come find me.
What's that? What's the name of the gym?
So Your Fitness 365 and
Yeah.
Submission Concepts is the martial arts.
Beautiful. You heard it here. I mean, most of our people are like in San Antonio that would watch this, or Colorado here and around the world. But so then we might just get a new member, join your gym.
Yes, sir. And dude, keep making awesome underwear.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you for coming on. We'll do it again. That was a fun one. Another good one.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. Peace.